We're back for our Pride special of the Smoke Up. Bradley, play it.
Oh shit! I wasn't ready.
We're back.
I didn't know we were doing that.
Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up. Well, we toke up. Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up.
And I have a few little segments planned that we can do that I planned for other episodes, but we could pull up. I basically planned a whole bunch of episodes out, but none of them, the numbers don't matter, and the time that we do it doesn't really matter.
Makes sense.
Just a bunch of recent things in the media, but yeah, this is the Smoke Up, and we hang out. We don't really do a regular show on here. You know, it's not.
This ain't the regular show.
Yeah, no, it's not it's not your grandfather's show. It's not your grandfather's YouTube podcast show. This is one that's made for your grandmother.
Yeah. We talk about knitting and baking cookies.
Yeah. I baked cookies, right? And I baked them perfectly. And Erica didn't like them because they were too hard, because I didn't undercook them. What's your statement there? Do you prefer...
did they come out of the oven hard?
No, they came out of the oven soft, and then they harden as they dry, and then you put them in the cookie jar. That's how you make cookies. Our audience of old women will tell you.
You definitely got to listen to the old ladies.
Is this bong water fresh?
Absolutely not.
Can we get a fresh bong water stat?
You're going to make me undo my mic. Walk over to the sink. Turn on the faucet. Turn off the faucet. Walk back over here. And redo my mic.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound like that much.
That doesn't sound like that much. I'll be right back.
Here, I'll even switch the camera to your empty seat. Alright. So it's like you're still here.
Y'all can just imagine me still sitting here. Looking fly as a motherfucker.
What the hell? They were terrible. I don't know what that means. I don't understand the context of that comment, E. Chezzy.
Oh, I need the bong to get the ball.
They were horrible. They were horrible. Who was horrible? I gotta get the noise reduction turned back on here. Who were horrible, E. Chezzy? Terrible. Who were that? The cookies. Oh yeah, I forgot. E. Chezzy is my wife. What's the person in chat? The cookies. No, they were fine. I bet if you read the instructions on the box, it tells you to cook them that way.
Fucking pokey.
Dead air. Okay, I guess I'll start to pull up a segment here. We got a lot of segments going on. It's actually been a really, really busy year when it comes to things happening. Things have been happening every day, it feels like. No, I don't know what that means in context. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Chatters, if you're gonna say something in chat, make sure you say a whole statement so there's context to what you're saying. We're not here. We don't read every individual chat, so it's kind of hard to keep up with exactly what you're saying. Oh. Me, Chezzy is frustrated. It's okay. It's okay. I brought drinks and snacks for myself. I got some sodas.
Soda man. Soda man with the soda can.
Here we go. Here we go. Did that work? Did that work or not? Okay. Yeah, soda man with the soda can.
Yep.
Or soda plan or whatever.
Yeah.
Soda jam.
Maybe even a soda stand.
Could you imagine jam made out of soda?
Oh, that'd be terrible. You just eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich and it starts fizzing in your mouth.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's not exactly what I imagined, but that would be crazy. So, I'm sure you heard about this, but Violent J was on the Willie D show.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Sure did. Watched a few clips.
He talked a little bit about Kid Rock.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Kid Rock?
I feel like we talked about Kid Rock before.
Have we?
I don't know.
I feel like we talked about Vanilla Ice, and talking about Vanilla Ice is a lot like talking about Kid Rock.
I don't know. Kid Rock is blatantly like he just screams racist.
Yeah. Well, and we're gonna get to it here in a little bit. I don't know if we have the video, but there's a very funny story about Kid Rock. But I'm using this other story about Willie D and Violent J to segue into the Kid Rock thing. But so did you see the clip of him talking about Kid Rock, or you saw the other clips? Because he talked about a lot in that interview.
I mean, I think I saw that one. Oh.
Okay, well, we'll still watch it for the sake of a instant reaction. But for those that don't know, Violent J of ICP and ICP themselves, they knew Kid Rock. At least
they worked with
Kid Rock. But he was more popular than them at the time, correct? It was like them getting a bigger feature.
Yeah, he was a superstar. So they were trying to get they got Esham on the album, and they wanted, because he was big in Detroit, and they wanted Kid Rock because he was like.
So, but they wanted Kid Rock, was it them asking for Kid Rock, or was it just was it someone else telling them they should get Kid Rock?
I believe that was just they were like, who are the two biggest artists in Detroit right now? There was Esham and Kid Rock.
Okay.
The way Violent J has told the story was like they did a feature with Esham, and then when they talked to Kid Rock, his first question was how much they paid Esham, and then he based his price off of that.
Okay. But he was like a weird dick about it? Or was that him being a weird dick?
I mean,
or was he not a weird dick?
Wasn't really specified that way.
I think he should have just done it for free. Exposure. He didn't know who his music would be exposed to.
Yeah, but when you're a big artist, you usually don't do features with up and coming artists for free.
Who's the one that ended up with a cult following? You know. Although I'm sure I think Kid Rock is worth a lot more than they are.
Yeah, Kid Rock is.
So I think pandering to conservatives probably helped him out. I bet he tours with Vanilla Ice. I bet they tour together.
I don't know.
I feel like they would be playing for the same demographic, and they do the same type of music, except unfortunately, Kid Rock's music is better. I don't like to say that.
I don't know enough about Vanilla Ice's music. I've heard Ice Ice Baby,
Well,
Go Ninja Go.
I know All Summer Long it may not be like a good song in my opinion, but it's like beloved by America. So I don't know if Ice Ice Baby is as beloved or if it's considered more like a joke. And that's probably Vanilla
It's a little bit
Ice's
of
most
both, depending
famous
on the
song.
generation you're talking to, I think.
Like just incredibly old boomers jam out to it. and it's
Yeah,
the best
boomers
hip-hop
loved
song
that
ever,
shit, man. That's why it was so big.
unfortunately. But yeah. So all that, and so here's Violent J talking about them working together with Willie D. I'm gonna hand you this tab and you full screen it.
Where's my mouse? What the fuck?
Oh, do I gotta get that set up? I guess I gotta get that set up real quick. I forgot to. Who's Willie D? Willie D is Bradley. Explain who Willie D is. He's an old school rapper.
He's from the Ghetto Boys.
Okay.
Fucking old school 80s gangster rap. Considered to be one of the originators of horrorcore. They would just rap about crazy shit a lot of the time, and it was not common back then. So they're not really as well known now. You don't really hear about them, but they're respected among people who know old school hip hop.
Come on. Where'd the mouse go? Okay. So Willie D is a ghetto boy.
He is certainly a ghetto boy for sure.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, this fucking just bugged out on me. I have no idea what to do here. Oh, okay. This is why this isn't working. Okay. Yeah, but I didn't know Willie D was in Ghetto Boys. I've just heard his name separately. But I've never listened to Ghetto Boys either. I'm sure since it's old school hip hop, they probably said.
So before he became this rebel flag waving, fuck everybody but the pure white nation.
Jay, this is Kid Rock. First of all, straight up the energy, he's one of those dudes we would never hang with. Me and Shaggy, you know what I mean? He's just one of those dudes that irks you. You know, our energies are different. You know what I'm saying? But we would go over there because he came out before us. He was signed to fucking Jive. You know what I mean? Do you know about that?
Yeah, I thought it was Def Jam, but
No, he was signed to
Oh
Jive.
my god.
And fucking he had Too Short producing his record. He was on tour with Ice Cube and them. Too Short, doing some tour. That was a big deal to us, you know what I mean? So when we came up, we paid to get Esham on a song, you know what I mean? And Kid Rock was and our producer, Mikey Clark, who was just a super hot producer from Detroit, you know, at the time was also working with Kid Rock. And so we told Mike, ask Kid Rock how much to get on our track. And Kid Rock was like, what Esham want? And we were like, 500. And Kid Rock was like, all right, I'll do it for 6. You know? So anyway, so we did the song, you know what I mean? He ended up getting too drunk into session, you know what I mean? And to finish it. And we were like, that's bullshit because we don't drink at the sessions. We take this shit serious. You know what I mean? Anyway, to his respect, he came back the next day and finished it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so after that, the only time we see him is when we're meeting to discuss maybe doing a big show together or something. You know what I mean? And I'm out there sitting in his apartment, right? And he has a black girlfriend, right? And they have a baby. And me and Joey are sitting there, and he's telling us, because he's the veteran, you know what I'm saying? We're just coming out. He's doing all this shit with Jive, you know what I mean? And this is after just after all that, you know? And he's like, don't trust anybody black in this business. Wow. I'm gonna tell you this right now. And his woman with the baby is just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. And that I'll never forget. You know what I'm saying? Me and Joy are just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And he's saying all that, and we're just like, uh-huh. And we I never heard him say anything direct racist other than that, you know, in front of us, but we didn't really hang with him. We would just see him when we would try to do something, a show or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was never one of our guys, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, according to Violent J, they didn't even like him in the first place, and he was just openly racist around them.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been their story. They've told that story for years. That was the one time they ever hung out with him, and it was very off-putting for obvious reasons.
About the Trey and stuff. But Kid Rock was also in the news again for being racist. On top of this, I think that's why Willie D was asking him in the first place.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, Kid Rock was in an interview with Rolling Stone or someone, where he said the N-word a whole bunch of times. Let's see. How Kid Rock turned into a Republican mouthpiece. Well, Trump's MAGA. Or how Kid Rock went from America's favorite hard partying rock star to a MAGA mouthpiece. When you visit Bob Ritchie at his home in the Jagged Hills outside Nashville, the guy will likely greet you as a nice guy who goes by Uncle Tom, because of course he does. But a part of Ritchie makes his living as Kid Rock, but a big part of being Kid Rock is doing things that are provocative, offensive, and at least to him funny. So he has a butler named Uncle Tom. So Tom procures a can of Miller Lite for him. That's his real name, by the way, Ritchie says with a sharp laugh. Don't give him some shit in the article. Ritchie is wearing dark sunglasses, a black shirt, jeans, and boots that says, may or may not be stink skins. Let's get to the quotes. Last year, he responded to the transgender social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney being on a Bud Light promotion by shooting cans, and then he wants to shut down Planet Fitness. Where's he gonna be? Let's get to the good part. Okay. Producer and engineer, this is Juggalo related, Mikey Clark, who has a long history with Ritchie going back to the late 1980s, compared it to losing a family member, and said he no longer hung up Kid Rock Platinum Records because of what it represents now. Kenny Olson, who played lead guitar for Ritchie more than a decade starting in the mid-1990s, was just perplexed. I don't understand where a lot of this came from. I always felt music should inspire people, not divide people. So if Violent J is telling the truth, then are these people lying? Like, because how would they not know he's racist for a long time? Or when they hung out with him, was it like recent? It was in the 90s when they hung out with him, right?
You know, it was like 1991.
So how would Mikey Clark not know he was racist before all summer long?
That's an interesting question. Maybe he picks and chooses who he shows that side to. Maybe he thought ICP seemed white trash enough to get down with that kind of
he
shit.
just pegged them as racist.
Like, yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
It's pretty funny.
Who knows? Or maybe they, you know, some people just thought it was jokes, and ICP were the only ones that were just like, "Yo, what the fuck?" That could be
Yeah,
it too. Like some
maybe.
people just didn't take it seriously.
Maybe I could see that. But yeah, in an age where many people have blah blah blah. I want to get to the quotes. I don't care about all the other stuff. Boo boo boo. Do do do. Although Ritchie often describes his upbringing as middle class, it was beyond what most people would ascribe to the term. His father, Bill, who died in February, owned a large, successful Lincoln Mercury dealership in the northern suburb of Sterling Heights, and for a time was president of the Detroit Automobile Dealers Association, an influential trade group. His family lived in an expansive 5,628 square foot estate built on more than 5 acres that included apple orchards, an in-ground pool, tennis courts, and a horse barn. Yeah, that's rich. That's not middle class. That's rich.
Well,
Tennis courts. That is upper class. Fucking tennis courts on your property. Could you imagine having tennis courts on your property?
no, I don't think I would want a tennis court on my property. Honestly, I'd rather have like a basketball court so I could shoot hoops. That'd be more fun, in my opinion.
Just miles and miles and miles of tennis courts as far as the eye can see.
Might as well just make it a golf court or a golf field.
No,
A golf. What the fuck do you call it? What is it called?
it's a golf field.
Golf field. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking all this courts
It's
got me all
definitely-
fucked up with
No,
my
I don't know.
terminology.
I don't know what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called a golf court.
Golf. No.
No, it's called holes. The golf holes.
I mean, there are holes.
Yeah, that's what I said. There are holes. Okay, back to the article. Ugh. He had a guest house bigger than my family home, said West Chill Gandy, a local rapper who met Richie when he was only 14. At the time, I'm tired of saying Richie. Kid Rock was just a skinny kid who knew how to operate some basic recording equipment. Gandy would come to Kid Rock's house to record nearly every weekend, and occasionally Kid Rock would visit Gandy's home on the west side of Detroit. You don't see white kids in my neighborhood, says Gandy. It was me that brought him into the city and introduced him to Detroit culture. Bob is like a sponge. He absorbed a lot. Kid Rock began DJing. His dad loved music, but he wanted rock and country music. And then he was had his dealership and was a Republican. Okay. See, this author did like a whole piece, but I just want to see the part where he starts saying slurs. Kid Rock gravitated towards his audience, said Doc Rune C. Pouncey, another Beast crew member. If his audience was predominantly white, which they were, he was going to play to them. He recalls a conversation with Kid Rock around this time about his change in artistic direction. He straight up told me, I need to get in touch with my whiteness, says Harmon. Gandy remembers Richie using the same phrase. Gandy remembers Kid Rock using the same phrase. That sounds like something I would say, Kid Rock says. I don't give a fuck how people take it. Uh, boo, 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 boo. He says, I'm part of the problem. I'm one of the polarizing people, no question. Sometimes I bitch about other people. Then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, why don't you shut the fuck up too? So is this mostly an impulse control problem? It's a rich guy issue, he says. No fucks get left. I'm not going to get it right every time, but I know my heart's right. I want the best for this country. Back in the early 2010s, radical centrism, blah, blah, blah. Nobody said a word. No one. That was the thing until all this woke. That was the thing until all this woke shit started happening. Some black members of his band gave him a pass. Misty Love says the flag didn't mean anything when he used it. It was just part of a backdrop. Kid Rock insists there's no deeper intent than that. I was using the Confederate flag because I love Leonard Skinner, and I think it looks cool. The Republicans bring safe. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so this was the tenor of the next hour or so. We start talking about American history, and he rightfully brings up slavery and the genocide of Native Americans as stains on that history. I ask him if he worries that in the modern day he might be on the wrong side of history. No, it was Republicans that freed the fucking slaves. Yes, but the Republicans were the progressive party back then. I know where you're going with this, and I'll tell you why I don't. Because Trick Trick, the hardest inward in Detroit, was like, dog, you had that shit right. We need Trump. I'll call him right fucking now. He dials his phone, but Christian Mathis, the pioneering underground Detroit rapper who goes by Trick Trick, doesn't pick up. Kid Rock turns back at me. I'm telling you, these dogs are calling me like, yo, inward, you had that one right. Mathis didn't respond to subsequent messages asking for confirmation of his support for Trump. It's worth mentioning these are not the only times Richie drops the N-word during my visit. It would be easy to label this as the rantings of a drunk racist, but with everything that Richie does, it's hard to know how calculated it all is. Is he just trying to get a reaction? Is he begging to be pilloried when the story comes out so he can launch a very public tirade against cancel culture? Is this all a play for more attention? Would any of that make this less shitty? I don't know. But yeah. What do you feel about that, Bradley?
I mean, doesn't sound like a very cool dude. I don't know how else I'm supposed to feel about it.
Do you think before woke culture, rappers weren't progressive?
I feel like that's too general of a term and not specific enough.
Yeah, because you could be talking. I feel like it's always a case by case thing where you get regressive rappers and progressive rappers.
Well, it depends on what issues you're talking about. I mean,
I don't know.
Most rappers historically have not been very kind to feminism, I would say. But
well, I mean that
they definitely, when it comes to like racial issues, would be on the progressive side of things most of the time. So it just depends on the issue.
Well, I don't know about any of that.
What do you mean?
I don't know if being aware of racism automatically makes you like progressive, you know, like if you know that like
No, but speaking out against it is definitely a progressive thing to do.
yeah, yeah. But
Which
I
is
mean,
very common in hip hop.
but I think it's kind of a cop out politically to be like, oh, if I'm speaking out against racism, then I'm a progressive, because you could be
I
like,
don't think they claim to be progressive, but
yeah, well, I know that's what I'm like. I don't think I think it's obviously, I think the progressives claim to be progressive and have always claimed to be progressive.
yeah, if you're a
Like,
political person and you have a political stance and you put a title to it, that's different than somebody having opinions on things that may lean progressive some of the time.
so then you do agree that rappers have been mostly apolitical.
I mean, yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at. But I would say
See,
on certain issues, they would lean more progressive.
I would disagree
But
with that. I think it's been pretty split down the middle, probably.
wouldn't that mean that rap has been apolitical?
No, split down the middle between political activists and apolitical people. Hip hop is like,
Yeah, well, yeah. But when you take the political rappers, what are they usually talking about? They're talking about racism, segregation,
but they're
oppression
also
in
talking.
general. Like,
Those same people are talking pro women. It's the apolitical rappers that are
I
anti-feminism.
would argue you could find plenty of rappers that speak out against racism and then use the same kind of misogynistic language you hear in a lot of hip hop.
Well,
I mean,
I think
it's just been part of hip hop culture for the longest time to speak that way about women. It probably doesn't even have a lot to do with their views a lot of the time.
well, I
You
do
know,
think
like,
I think how you talk about women does determine a lot of your views, but I think you're overrepresenting the amount of people who talk like because you could say like words without being like I think necessarily like anti, like I think you could say the bitch with the word bitch without being misogynistic in the
yeah.
process, but you can also use it misogynistically to demean someone, you know. So I
Yeah,
think,
but a lot of rap is like specifically misogynistic. I mean, it's just been a part of hip hop for a long time. Speaking about women in a very sexualized and
I think mainstream rap is probably like that a lot of the time, but I don't think that's like all of rap.
I didn't say all of rap, but it's not just mainstream rap. You're gonna find a lot of that in any kind of rap, any genre of rap. It's just been part of rap.
I don't know about any genre of rap either.
Basically any genre of rap. There's so many genres out there. You probably have subgenres that inherently disqualify that kind of stuff. But generally, it doesn't matter if you're talking gangster rap, talking trap, talking fucking emo rap, talking fucking rap, rock shit. Like a lot of the time when they talk about women, it's in a demeaning way. That's
mean,
not even me downing
can,
on hip hop.
no,
I love hip hop.
I mean,
like
I don't necessarily think, I think that depends on what artists you're listening to, honestly. I think you
yeah,
can find,
but that's very common in hip hop. That's what I'm saying. Like it's
well, yeah, it being common. I'm saying it's split down the middle, but I don't think it's like as common as people make it seem. Like I don't think, I think like fucking like Tupac talks about like hot women, and like he says the word bitch and stuff, but he's also politically progressive about women, you know, and that's like, I think that a lot of rappers do that.
Do you think
as
there's
opposed
no Tupac lyrics that you could take and isolate and be like, this is pretty sexist right here? You don't think there's anything like that?
I think if you took it out of context, you might be able to do that.
Or even in context. You don't think there's any
No,
rap
I
lyric
don't
where
think
he's just rapping about like fucking bitches and just says it in
I don't
like
think fucking bitches is misogynistic, Bradley.
No, but the way you word it can be. You didn't even let me finish my statement.
What? What's the rest of your statement then?
I mean, I feel like the context should be obvious at this point anyway, but talking about fucking bitches and fucking like even saying it that way, a lot of women would find that fucking demeaning. I mean, I don't know what we're even arguing here, honestly. What is the debate here?
the overrepresentation of misogyny and not even misogyny, regressive politics in hip hop lyrics, I think is probably what we're saying, what we're talking about. But I think like, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of that stuff with like, you know, club hits and stuff, but I don't know. I don't think that part of hip hop is that big because I mean, like, even like Eminem was heavily criticized for how he talked about women in his music, you know, and a lot of hip hop is, but specifically, Eminem was worse than a lot of artists. And when you listen to his stuff, it's like it's fucked up a lot of the time, but it's like specifically like the worst it gets, like the worst it gets in the mainstream, you know, like that's like the worst allowable thing it gets, which is killing a woman. But I think he got
he talks about raping his own mother.
Well, he gets
Like,
flack for that, for saying that kind of shit.
He
you
still
know?
gets away with it in the mainstream, though. Like, you don't get nearly as much as you would think for that kind of statement. You know what I mean? Like, you would think hearing that, like,
They don't care about Eminem's gritty stuff. It's not why Eminem's popular. He's popular because he raps with Rihanna.
that's kind of my point, though. Is normally that kind of thing would get you like, fucking, like people would be like, oh, "Fuck that! We ain't listening to this motherfucker talking about that kind of shit." like most people, I don't think would get away with it. It's because Eminem has such a style to him, and he's so skilled, and people really love what he does. Otherwise, that he can get away with those kinds of statements, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
But either way, I think that's because, like, the whole point is that he was breaking rules in hip hop by being that overtly hateful towards women, you know. And I think a lot of hip hop and R&B is about loving women, you know.
well, definitely
And,
R&B.
Well, even hip hop, a lot of hip hop's about loving women. Like they might use certain words that some people might find offensive, but I think you gotta press it a little bit more than just saying like the word bitch than to like actually find like real problematic shit in there, you know.
Well, I mean, isn't it kind of like using any other slur? Isn't that basically a slur? Like, women find it offensive when you call them that, so
I don't
if
really
you use the
know.
N-word
I
and
don't-
you're not trying to be racist, it still comes off racist.
well,
You know what I mean?
There's a lot more to that. I mean, the N-word, there's a reason why you're saying the N-word and bitch. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
And it's
It's a
because
similar reason. It's a word a label that was given.
no,
to,
there's a reason why you're censoring one and not the other. That's what I'm saying. It's because
Oh.
one is actually like it's culturally like fucked up, and the other one, it's used both non-misogynistically. It's used
So is the N-word. The N-word is used by the people who were victimized with that word and they use it in a way that isn't.
I'm saying it's used non-misogynistically by everybody. And misogynistic people use it specifically one way, but a lot of people use it just as a word to describe someone who's like irritating or cowardly, you know. That's a lot of the time that's how that word is used. It's not used as a slur. It's used as a word that's used to insult people.
Okay, but haven't you heard the N-word used that way? Growing up in this town, I'm sure you have. Because I definitely have. I've heard people use the N-word against white people just to call them something, and that's the word they use.
Well, I think you're still racist for using that word.
But that's my point, though, is like it's really just a matter of perspective
No,
here.
it's
The
not a
word is
matter of
viewed
perspective.
differently, but it's not being used differently. That's what I'm saying.
The word literally functions differently in society. Like it has a different function.
People perceive it differently, but when you're
One
using it
is
the
a
same way,
slur, and one is just an insult, a general insult that's used both for men and for women and used to mean different things. Like,
I don't think you're getting my point, but I don't whatever.
no, I get your point. I'm just saying that that's flawed. It doesn't make any sense. It's literally like
If it doesn't make sense, I don't think you got my point, because I think it makes perfect sense.
well, I think it makes perfect sense to you because you're thinking about it wrong. I think that the N word, just like any other slur that I wouldn't care to repeat either, I think they're specifically used by bigots to degrade and dehumanize people in a very specific kind of way. And you could call someone a bug to dehumanize someone, but that doesn't make bug a slur.
No, but
Just
if
like
it
bitch
was
isn't a slur.
originally, and then you start using it against people who weren't originally bugs, then
What?
man, I don't understand the point of this. I don't know what we're debating anymore. I really don't. I feel like this conversation has changed like 5 different times.
Well, I changed it to something else, but
Well, because I don't even know what we were just talking about.
well, you were
before
saying that bitch is like comparable to the N word, and that
I said it's
basically a
used
slur.
similarly. It's perceived differently. Yes, I agree. The N word is culturally frowned upon much more strongly. I'm not disagreeing with that. I feel like you think I'm disagreeing with that.
You act like there's no reason for that, and it's just
I never said
arbitrary.
that. No. What I said is that people use them similarly. It's a matter of perception that makes that word worse because of the context that we know it in. But when it's being used the same, what my point is, I don't think using the word bitch makes it like not demeaning if it was like being used that way originally, and then you normalize that word. That doesn't change the previous meaning. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're saying
So,
previous meaning, like previous meaning. What do you mean by previous meaning? We're not using a new meaning of the word bitch. We're using a meaning of the word bitch that's existed since we were born. Like being annoying or being a coward is our word. It's ways that it's used without it being bigoted. It's not a slur. I'm just arguing that, like, the N word, you know, a lot of words that people use against Mexicans in this country, all those are slurs. Bitch isn't a slur, and I don't like when people like try to like pull
but
that
it is
shit,
used
you know?
as a slur, is what I was saying.
No,
I said that they're used similarly a lot of the time. I didn't say that it's exactly comparable. I understand that it's not.
yeah, I mean, I
That's
guess,
all I'm saying.
Bryn, it's
I'll play this.
Frasier was convicted of
Oh, you got a full
involuntary
screen.
manslaughter.
The violence captured national headlines
listening
and
on my
fueled true crime podcasts.
After she was finished stabbing Chad 108 times.
So extreme, it drove some to protest.
Justice for Chad! She's a murderer! She's been convicted! She needs to go to prison!
Now the woman behind the mugshot is ready to talk.
I mean, this is her choice. This is nobody making her do anything. I'm just like sweating bullets right now. It's all right. It sucks.
Come on, this way.
Good girl. Good girl.
Bryn Spacher is home where she grew up in northwest suburban Bloomingdale with 3 brothers and a lot of pets.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is the norm.
Bryn was diagnosed at an early age with hearing loss. She's worn hearing aids since she was 4, and she discovered a passion for helping others with the same disability.
I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do, is to work in the audiology field.
After earning her master's degree from Washington University in St. Louis, Bryn moved to Los Angeles to start her career as an audiologist. Her hearing service dog, Aria, by her side. The two spent much of their free time at a dog park in Thousand Oaks in the spring of 2018.
Before work, after work, and I would be there for hours just to let her have fun and get to know people in the dog park area.
One of the people Bryn got to know was Chad O'Melia. A few weeks after they met, Chad was dead, Bryn charged with his murder.
I had no intention to hurt him. I never would hurt anybody.
It was Memorial Day weekend. After a visit to the dog park, Bryn and Chad went back to his apartment where he offered her marijuana in a bong. It was legal. Bryn was an inexperienced user. What happened next shattered two families when Bryn unexpectedly became violent.
It was the most horrific thing to watch, because there was no thought or emotions or motors, feelings, sensory feelings of any kind. There was nothing. And it was just like I was watching a TV screen of just all this awful thing happening.
With what prosecutors say was 3 knives from the kitchen, she stabbed Chad, the serrated edges of the knives leaving him with 108 wounds. Bryn even stabbed her dog, Aria, and herself.
Dissociation of reality. And you don't have no sense of time, you have no sense of judgment, morality, emotions. It's the scariest thing.
Ventura County Sheriff's deputies responded, their body cameras recording. That video evidence remains under seal, but both Bryn's defense team and the Ventura County prosecutor have watched it many times.
She carved up his face. The stabbing was horrific.
One of the deputies shoots her with a taser gun 4 times. So these electrical wires go into her body 4 times. She keeps stabbing herself.
Another deputy forced to use his metal baton for the first time in his career. It took 9 blows to break Bryn's arm, finally freeing the knife from her hands.
They saved my life, and I'm forever grateful for them.
Bryn, covered in blood, was rushed to the hospital where she underwent surgery and survived her 43 stab wounds. Her mom flew from Chicago to take care of her.
She was going, ask Chad what happened. I don't know what happened. It was just a matter of trying to, just consciously waking up. It was a matter of trying to explain to the detectives what I was experiencing, but saying it in a way where it was like, but I know I didn't do it, but I saw this happening.
Bryn spent 6 days in jail. Prosecutors initially charged her with murder, but over the course of the years-long investigation, just months before her trial, they reduced the charge to involuntary manslaughter. The reason? Experts on both sides agreed. Her actions were the result of a cannabis-induced psychosis.
This is really rare, but it can happen. It's known to happen. There's been human experimental studies that have shown that if you give people high levels of THC directly to their bloodstream, you can elicit psychotic symptoms.
No fucking way, right?
At Northwestern University's Feinberg School of Medicine, Dr. Sachin Patel studies how cannabis and its primary psychoactive compound, THC, affect the brain. He says those most at risk of experiencing cannabis-induced psychosis are people with mental illness or people who have a family member with a psychotic disorder.
Is it possible for someone to become violent when they wouldn't normally be?
It's possible, depending on the degree of psychosis. So if people are perceiving things in the environment to be threatening, for example, that they ordinarily wouldn't, or when there actually is no threat, certainly one reaction of that could be, for example, fear or withdrawal. Under certain circumstances, it could be heightened aggression.
Nope.
Late last year, a jury convicted Bryn.
When you were waiting for that sentencing, what did you think was going to happen?
Oh, I really thought I was going to prison.
But that's not how the judge saw it. Court transcripts quote him saying, "No one could have foreseen that a single hit of marijuana that night would have caused Miss Spacer to have a total psychotic break from reality. Certainly not Chad, and certainly not Miss Spacer. In light of these facts, I do not believe that further incarceration of Miss Spacer is appropriate."
Get up there, good boy.
He sentenced her instead to 2 years probation and 100 hours community service, specifically educating the public on the dangers of THC.
That this judge absolved this defendant of really any responsibility other than the fact that she's convicted sends a very dangerous message.
Chad's father calls
Now,
the
how come
sentence
she gets
a
like 10
travesty
seconds
of
of
the system.
airtime?
What does she have to do? Nothing after taking another human being's life? That's not accountability.
Yeah,
Probation,
unbelievable.
talking to people. I mean, that's not justice.
And what do you want the Amelia family to hear from you now?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that they have to live with a hole in their life and will forever not be able to be with Chad anymore.
Yeah, she seems like she really gives a shit. Oh
and
my
that they
god.
have to grieve. And I just hope and pray that they find some compassion and forgiveness.
Bryn's requirement to raise awareness about the risks of marijuana comes amid the drug's normalization. The federal government is moving to reclassify it as a less dangerous drug. It's legal recreationally in 24 states, and manufacturers are creating more potent products that are more accessible than ever.
I see this not being good. We as a population are being exposed to things today that we just never really were even a possibility 10, 15, 30 years ago. It's not surprising that we would be seeing more people having some, increased incidence of some adverse effects. And, cannabis-induced psychosis is the extreme of that. It's still very rare, but we're sitting here because it's happening.
I just hope that my story will save somebody else's life.
Bryn is appealing her conviction for that felony as she works to obtain a license here in Illinois to continue her career as an audiologist. As part of her community service, she's teaming up with an advocacy group called Every Brain Matters that fights what it calls the expansion of drug culture. We have additional interviews with the folks at that organization on our website, WGNTV.com. Just look for this story, guys.
Really fascinating. The Northwestern doctor said this is very rare. But you do know of documented cases where this has been a precedent.
Yeah, this defense is considered novel. It's new, but there is a case just from this spring in Ireland. A man found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity because of marijuana-induced psychosis there too. So it is rare, but it's also happening.
Stigma-based. That has to be.
So
That's insane. You would never, ever, ever under any
If you've been in a car accident,
get off for that. Oh,
don't call an attorney.
If you were
Use this AI app instead.
If this was like a fucking, I mean, really, if it was anybody, like, she got so fucking lucky from that. Like, it's so insane that happened. If it was you or me that just went out and killed a bunch of people, we wouldn't be able to get off weed psychosis. And weed psychosis is possible, but it isn't like you're gonna start murdering people. She had a plan and she fucking did it. Like, it's so fucking crazy. That's premeditated murder and she got away with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like a bunch of people just saw this as an opportunity to crack down on weed. Like, and I'm curious what research that guy was talking about. Now, how old is that research? When did this research come out? Well, I know at the beginning of Reefer Madness, it says, this film is based off of actual scientific research,
exactly.
blah, 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 blah. And then the whole film was about somebody going insane and killing people.
That was literally a Reefer Madness piece.
Exactly.
Those were
that's what I'm saying.
Judges that were influenced by Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm curious what research he's referring to. Is it the same bullshit research that film is referring to from fucking 1900 or some shit?
Or even the anchor being like, we've heard of this in the past too. He could. I think that old fuck is just referring to Reefer Madness. You know what he says?
Yeah,
that, know?
That's the only time I've fucking heard of it, other than this.
Yeah, and it's such. Yeah, it is absolute. Because even the dude who says it, who got called on the news over that, he says that it's when a very high amount of THC enters the bloodstream. You can't get that from one hit of weed. It's impossible to get that from one hit of flower. It is a high amount of THC entering your bloodstream. It's just not going to happen. Like, that's not a high amount. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they consider a high amount is pretty ridiculous anyway. I mean, have you seen the recommended, when you get a thing of dabs, some of them have a recommended dosage. It's like a little tiny dot. That's the recommended dosage. It's like not even a dab. So like it's
Yeah,
kind of
but-
like food servings. You know what I mean? I was like, food servings are kind of small, but like
But flour
even worse than that.
Flour isn't near as concentrated as dab, and she's
Well,
saying
yeah.
she hit a bowl of wheat.
But what I'm saying is their standards for what they consider high amounts is way higher than it should be, probably, and that's
that's
why
true,
they're
too.
saying that.
Yeah, it's basically a fucking rigged system.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't take a shot of alcohol and shoot your fucking best friend or shoot your fucking girlfriend.
I
or
mean, like I
boyfriend,
was drunk.
Yeah,
it was whiskey, bro. It wasn't
Yeah.
just beer.
It was whiskey psychosis.
Yeah.
That would never fucking fly.
Yeah, it's obvious propaganda.
Yeah. And she was even told by the courts to make propaganda out of it. I'll let you
Yeah.
off the hook for this as
Yep.
long as you spread awareness about cannabis.
Yeah. So it doesn't get any more in your face than that, what this is all about, in my opinion.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Well, they're going to resort to these kinds of tactics. The people who don't want this shit legalized on the federal level, I mean, it's not surprising if you think about it, you know. Of course, they would take something like this and see it as an opportunity to be like, hey, you know what? This is a big problem to us.
Yeah.
They're trying to legalize this drug, and we don't want that.
It
and-
literally makes you murder people.
Yeah. And here we have somebody who took the drug and murdered people, so we can use this as an example
they
of why
got
the
off
drug
the
is
hook
bad.
for it too. They murdered someone and got off the hook because they were on this high substance. It's like you're the guy who let them out of jail, and you're like, they got free because of this drug. It's fucking insane.
Let's sparkle this joint.
Oh yeah, let's burn up a doob.
Yeah.
That's what they call it in my neighborhood.
I just call it reefers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoking some reefers.
Yeah, but that shit kind of made my blood boil. I didn't realize it was gonna be.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I remember reading that story when it first happened, and I mean, same thing with that. Immediately, I was like, this is obvious propaganda. I mean, like, this would never fly anywhere else in any other scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if that's the case, I would like to see every single person who's ever done drugs and been put in jail while high out of jail for it.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously like it's the system excusing the people who are supposed to be excused from the system, which is white women. You know, they let her go because she was a wealthy white woman. Who fucking murdered her boyfriend. Good excuse.
Because like, if somebody is high on meth and murders somebody, what happens? I mean, this happens here. Anytime somebody murders somebody in this town, they're almost always high on meth.
They're on some type of drugs.
And you know what happens to them? They go to prison.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we could talk about prison being more reformative, but this bitch needs to be reformed. She does not need to be free without any time. She was in jail for 6 months and she got out with the perfect murder, basically. Going to your boyfriend's to smoke some weed and then stabbing him and your dog and then yourself and getting away with it.
Well, like that one person that they gave 6 seconds of screen time said, like, this sets a very dangerous precedent. Because now you get copycats who are like, oh shit, that's how I get away with this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get really I've never smoked weed before, so I'm just gonna get high before I do it, and then I'm gonna say that it was a psychosis.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I
now
mean?
there's a court precedent for it.
Yeah.
Now people can refer back to it.
Exactly.
anytime they do it.
There is an actual argument to be made because it's happened in the past, and once that happens, it sets a precedent for the future.
It's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
If that's gonna, I mean, if that case doesn't get like defeated, like fought against and brought back to a higher court, then it's definitely gonna end up being weed being illegalized again. You know, because they're not gonna like.
And that's the obvious goal from this too. Like why else would you take a vicious murder and make it all about weed.
And why would you let people take a drug that just randomly causes you to commit insane, fucking gruesome
Well,
murders?
that's their argument.
Yeah.
Why would you allow
Yeah,
people
why
to
would
take
you
this
allow-
drug?
I would never allow that shit on the street. But
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think weed does that to
Exactly.
people.
So that's the point. That's exactly the point. If they can convince people that this kind of shit happens, well, people aren't going to want their fucking kids growing up in a world where this shit is legal.
No.
For good reason, too. I mean, if they honestly believe this shit. But that's the problem, is it's obvious bullshit.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever grown up around weed knows it's obvious bullshit. Man, all the crazy motherfuckers we grew up around, weed was not the problem. It was when they started doing harder shit that they turned into fucking psychotic motherfuckers.
They started breaking down.
Yeah, like, so where's this concern with fucking, like, pharmaceutical drugs that
pills.
stimulate methamphetamines and opioids, you know, like...
the stigma against amphetamines have kind of fucking skyrocketed right now, like, especially in pill form. But, like, where's, like, the people, like, who's mad about Xanax? You know, that's what I'm wondering. The fucking drug that makes you black out, and it's just a common side effect of it is having fucking walking blackouts, and people take it recreationally just for general anxiety and give it to their friends, you know, like. But no, that's a rich person drug, because you can go to your doctor if you're like middle class and up and just be like, I have anxiety, can I have Xanax? And then you have a bottle of Xanax every month, you know.
Yeah.
That's just why I want every drug to be legal, because why should...
Yeah.
Like, she should be in prison, but also all drugs should be legal.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
The system I want.
That's the thing is when somebody gets drunk and they get in a car, they drive and they fucking hit somebody, we don't look at that like, okay, alcohol is the problem here.
I guess he's off the hook.
Or even aside from that, we don't like give him a lesser sentence because he was drunk.
Yeah.
Because, the alcohol was involved, so we have to put that into consideration, be a little easy on him because he was under the influence. We don't look at it that way.
No.
We look at it like, okay, he chose to get drunk, and then when he was drunk, he chose to get in a car and drive it, knowing, even as a drunk guy, you know that you're not supposed to fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like, there are no fucking excuses in that scenario, and everybody understands that. So why is that so fucking hard to grasp with other drugs? You know, not just weed, but drugs in general. If somebody gets high on meth and fucking kills somebody, like, people look at the meth as like part of the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe that contributed, but obviously this person is a fucking psycho to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, same with this lady, like, she obviously is fucked up in the fucking head. Maybe when she was high, she found it a little more appealing to kill somebody, a little easier to do it.
She's just all like, I'm just so sorry to the family that your son got me high and it forced me to murder him.
They're like, imagine being...
You know, nobody should ever smoke pot again. Your son was wrong to get me high. That was
imagine
so
being those parents and watching her get away with that, knowing your son smoked weed, and he wasn't a fucking psycho killer.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and she just came over and smoked some weed with him, and that forced her to fucking try to murder him. Like, that's why the dad is just shocked. Like, and I would be shocked too, because that's fucking shocking. Because that just means that gives people permission to murder drug users right there, basically. They got me high, it forced me into a delusion, and I killed them. Well, you're the innocent little girl. You don't need to be here in this can of witches giving you magical potions that are turning you into a fucking demon. Fucking magical thinking ass people.
Well, it's...
Yeah, exactly,
It's
Chazzy. In the stigma against amphetamines.
I think all drugs should just be treated the same, you know, the same way we treat alcohol, basically. And
yeah, basically,
like,
you could be a little bit high on anything. If you get too high, you still get in trouble. You lose your license if you get too high.
Well, I think it's just, if you get high, you accept the responsibility that comes with that. If you do something fucking stupid, you knew the risk when you got high. You know what I mean? If you're going to do a drug that may not jive with your fucking brain, you go and do that.
Yeah, right.
It's not the drug that's the problem. You made the choice to fucking do that drug,
Yeah.
The same thing with alcohol. Some people should not be drinking, and they choose to drink, and then they go and do stupid shit. It's not the alcohol. It's their decisions, you know?
And like, of all psychosis-inducing things, weed can cause psychosis, but there's a lot of other drugs that are psychoactive that can cause psychosis a lot fucking easier.
Yeah.
Weed is partially psychoactive.
Again,
it's not a psychoactive like drug. Like by it's not a hallucinogen, you know.
Again, how many people did we know growing up that smoked weed and that was never a problem?
But then
they got into
ate
harder
too many
shit.
mushrooms. Even I've seen people get fucking weird from eating too many mushrooms and getting high too often from that. It's not because of the mushrooms. It's because they were already suffered from a psychotic condition, and it's because when you have like stuff like that in your family, and then you take psychoactive drugs, it puts you in psychotic episodes. That's the problem. But weed has a much lower chance of doing that because it's not technically like it's a psychoactive drug, but it's not hallucinogenic. So it's a lot less likely to cause you to lose grip on reality. And when you disassociate and lose grip on reality, stuff happens, weird stuff happens. But I don't know about murdering your boyfriend, trying to kill your dog, and then kill yourself, and then all that. I don't know about all that. I think that's something like by reason of insanity, maybe, but not weed-induced psychosis. She has to take some responsibility for having a mental disorder, and get some actual help. If that's the case, if she actually had a psychotic episode.
Yeah.
But it's not the weed. It's not just like, okay, well, then your remedy is to stop people from using weed because it'll stop 1 million murders. As opposed to you going to therapy to figure out why, when you were in a psychotic episode, you murdered your boyfriend. Because that seems like there's still like something going on there. Like I've been in pretty fucking dissociative states, and the impulses were never like that violent. And I would like a therapist to talk to her and figure out why she's so violent. At the very least, some mandated fucking therapy. But honestly, that's what I want everybody to have, is something like that. Like give them a cozy room and a therapist and food, and they'll become a better person. Because therapy is a very good thing.
I mean, maybe not for everybody, but I mean, with a lot of people, that's going to help.
Yeah, because that's more than they get in jail a lot of the time.
Well, and I think part of the problem with mental health is the stigma against it. With certain mental health issues, like if you have depression or anxiety, that's okay to talk about. But if you have something really fucked up, you can't tell people that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that needs to change.
Yeah, because they'll be like, "Oh, you're a murderer that's going to kill me at any minute," and there's no recourse in society for someone like that.
I think somebody taking the step to reach out and tell somebody, "Hey, I have this fucking problem. Like, I have these fucked up thoughts, and I don't know why." Like, that shows a real effort to not want to do those things in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be more normalized. Like, people need to be more accepting of people with these problems if they're actually showing that they want to work on them. Because, I think that's how you get the difference between a Jeffrey Dahmer and somebody who just needs a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that could be the world of a difference. I
agree with that too.
Like if somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer as a kid could have talked about like, hey, I for some reason I have this weird like
shit going on.
Yeah, like I have this like weird obsession with like organs and stuff. I don't know why. Like, yeah, that would creep anybody out. But if it was more normalized for people to have at least somebody like a professional they can go to and talk to about that, that could prevent him turning out the way he did. You know what I mean? Maybe. I'm not guaranteeing that.
I think
obviously,
it's better than punishing people because punishing people just makes people lash out. So.
Well, and it makes people with those kinds of problems not want to talk about it, obviously.
And it also kind of waits until the problem gets too bad to do anything about it. if you're just punishing people,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
If you're
exactly.
not-
Like, yeah, it's nice to punish somebody who did something bad, but that's not solving the
yeah,
problem.
That's kind of
Like,
everybody still died in that.
yeah,
situation,
exactly.
you know?
Like, it's not helping. It's just giving us a sense of security that we can inflict some of the pain that this person put on others back onto them. Like, it's comforting a little bit, but it's not helping, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there needs to be a reform in the whole way we approach these kinds of things in the first place.
Oh. So a robot traveled to the deep sea. See what it found. I guess there was this. I'll pause the video and we'll watch the video, so I don't have to read a fucking article. Full screen that shiz.
Thing is inspiration. My best friends and I own Pirate Worldwide. We're on a mission to.
Why is it silent? Is there a button for that?
I mean,
Is it muted?
Unmuted it. I don't know why it muted again.
Sea urchins, squat lobsters, among the
you said
species
it.
that are
Right.
likely new to science here. And joining us now to talk more about this.
With the help of a deep-sea robot, scientists may have just discovered more than 100 new species, including our friend back here.
That's right. And the images of these never before seen creatures are really stunning. Just check these out. The Schmidt Ocean Institute says the new species were recently discovered living on underwater mountains off the coast of Chile. Glass sponges, sea urchins, squat lobsters, among the species that are likely new to science here. And joining us now to talk more about this is Dr. Joseph D. Turry. He is a diving explorer and a medical researcher as well. Great to have you. These pictures are pretty stunning here. More than 100. Yeah, it's great to have you. These 100 new species. How significant is that?
It's groundbreaking. So what we're going to do is, as we explore our boundaries and our ability to examine and explore the ocean, we're going to find new species. It's basically, the ocean is so rich with life that if we find all these creatures, we may just very well find cures for things.
Doctor, the researchers use this deep-sea robot. Talk to us about that technology, how far it can go.
Fucking ad? What the hell does that mean?
Under the sea.
So the deep sea robots have gone as far as Challenger Deep. There's been one that's gone that deep, which is in excess of 35,000 feet. But realistically, it's very complex and there's a tremendous amount of pressure down there. So it winds up being a very hard problem to solve. But as we go forward on the engineering portion of it, we're getting to see things like this. Pretend if you look where you've never looked before, you're going to find what you've never found. And this is an incredible find. I mean, like when I say cures, there are anti-cancer causing properties in Caribbean sea squirts. There are antimicrobial things that are in some fish. It's a real terrific day to be alive. We can find 100 new species. That's terrific.
It sounded like a lot of speculation.
Yeah, it sounded like you said we could find 100.
Footage of a rare deep-sea squid was captured by scientists
what I
at the
think is
University
weird
of
is
Western
we
Australia.
could
Kelpie
find 100 new
Geosciences and-
species. There are.
With the help of a deep-sea robot.
What did he say? Fucking cancer curing or whatever the fuck agents
in random fish in the ocean.
He said there are those.
Yeah.
We could discover 100 new species. I feel like he got those backwards. Maybe he worded it wrong and he meant to word it the other way around because it would have made way more sense that way.
No, because he said a specific fish had cancer alleviating properties. He was like talking about how there's a specific fish there.
Oh, he referenced a specific fish?
Yeah, so I don't think he was doing that. I think he was separately saying those two things. I think that was a con artist. 100 plus new species discovered. That's the article title, and that guy said Yeah, that would be exciting if we discovered that. Sounds like he was talking like they hadn't. What does the rest of this article say? Oh, that was the whole thing. It wasn't an article. It was just that.
With the help of a deep sea robot, scientists may have just discovered more than 100 new species, including our friend back here.
That's right. And the images of these never before seen creatures are really stunning. Just check these out. The Schmidt Ocean Institute says the new species were recently discovered living on underwater mountains.
Though the creatures they're showing, I've seen before. At least some of them, like the weird thing with the fucking ears. I've seen that. Literally, see, it looks like a squid with ears, but it's fins. I've seen that shit before. That's not
So
new.
that's the problem with all this. The news just being like a weird corporate advertising thing.
Yeah, because even if they are, what they're saying is true, the images they're showing don't match what they're actually talking about then, because they're just showing random sea animals.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like showing a shark and being like, we've discovered so many new species.
Yeah,
It's amazing. They show a fucking dolphin.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking stupid. Like, yeah, it's a weird looking fish, but I've seen it before. Like, I've seen plenty of weird fish. That one stands out because I've seen it and I recognize it. It reminds me of the character on Finding Nemo that inks, the little squid, you know, but it's got like fins that look like ears, like Dumbo ears.
Okay.
I've totally seen that shit. So again, I mean, maybe they discovered 100 plus new species, but why are they showing videos of shit they'd already discovered before then?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, maybe that's just lazy editing. Could be, but either way, it's just not convincing.
Yeah, I think that was like, I think they asked if they could get a shout out on the news for their sea robot.
Yeah, probably just like paid for a spot on the news.
You know, I expected them to show the robot too, but they never showed the robot.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the robot looks
Zoom
like.
Call.
Yeah,
we kind of just watched the Zoom call interspersed with pictures of animals.
Yeah, that's basically. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we watched. Again, what they're saying could be true, but they didn't show any of that. They just showed random sea animals. So
They're
like,
our hot air balloon discovered 100 new species of bird, and then like we're just like
it's just like pigeons
showing pictures of normal birds, and we're just like, yeah, it'd be very exciting if we found 100 images of birds.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's pretty silly. But you know, there's a bunch of people out there watching that, intrigued, finding it fascinating. So I guess it's good entertainment.
Yeah. Sea robots. So I was expecting like something like really cool, like this to be like the good news version of the people that died in the submarine. But it was kind of just felt like a prequel for more people dying in a submarine.
Yeah, well, what is their sea robot just a submarine? That'd be kind of funny. They're like calling it some like.
Well, it sounds like it's a remote control submarine.
Oh, that makes sense.
Or just like a drone, a water drone.
Water
of some
drone.
type.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would sound cooler. They should call it that.
Water drone.
Water drone. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
It sounds more official than sea robot.
Yeah. Sea bot.
Yeah, sea bot.
I don't know what they called it.
Like fucking. Yeah, water drone sounds cool. I like that one. If I were naming this shit, that's what I would have chose.
So you said you had some announcements before the show.
Yeah,
Let's hear 'em. Let's hear 'em.
I've been a busy bee. Got a lot of shit going on. Fucking almost done with my album. Just waiting on a couple features. But I actually got with this music promoter guy. Had a like 2-hour meeting with him. Just kind of went over like, you know, some of the things that I need to work on, how I can improve on like the business side of things. And like this dude, he's pretty legit. He just did a show with Kung Fu Vampire the other night. He's like in Colorado. He's got fucking connects, like real fucking connects.
Like promoted Kung Fu Vampire?
I mean, he does shows too. He like raps and shit too.
Okay.
So he did a show with Kung Fu Vampire, but he puts on shows too. And like he even explained like how I could do that on my own, which was like crazy because I assumed that would be something that would be hard to do. And it's really not. The way he laid it all out, it's actually achievable. So I definitely learned a lot. But there's someone I'm probably gonna continue to work with. He said he would be down to continue doing business. So I plan on doing big shit this year, man. I want to do some shows, more music videos, the whole deal. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, fucking that's one of the big things that I wanted to bring up. It's a pretty big step. I've got like real connects now. That's something I've been missing, you know.
That's pretty sick. How did you find out about that?
Shaden knows this guy. He's known about him for a while. He brought him up to me like a while ago before we started rapping together. But yeah, he fucking taught me a lot in those 2 hours for sure. And like I said, we're probably going to continue working together. I'm going to try to set up another meeting and like actually get like a plan specifically for my album going, you know, like a release schedule and shit. He said he would go over that with me and like help me like, you know, drop this single at this point and then do a show then and then like do a music video then and then, you know, leading up to the release of the album and like how to market it and shit.
So what, he showed you how to book a show?
He didn't show me how to book a show. He explained to me how to book a show, and it's actually way simpler than I thought it would be.
You just walk in there and say, "Hey, can I do a show?"
Well, basically, he said a lot of the venues around here, like not in town, but you know, like the Black Sheep, fuck the Roxy, places like that, they will let you do a show with like, they'll basically pay for part of it and then you make up that with ticket sales or something like that. I would have to like, I don't remember the exact way he put it, but the way he fucking put it was like so simple. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, basically like the venue like
is like a cover charge.
Yeah, and then you make it up in ticket sales, and if you don't get all the fucking ticket sales, then you have to pay that, you know. But like, I mean, say you're charging $20 per ticket, you get 10 people to show up. That's fucking $200. Yeah. So I mean, the key would be actually.
How much are the cover charges usually? Are they a lot? Little?
See, he like gave like the specific prices that they usually do and shit. I don't remember exactly.
You gotta have like be typing notes next time you're on.
Yeah. Well, Rigby was there. He was taking notes, but I don't think he took those notes.
Yeah.
He took more like general bullet points of like things and like, but yeah, it's definitely a huge step. Fucking.
That's pretty dope.
I'm making it a goal. I'm gonna do some shows this year.
Yeah, a live show?
Live show, man.
Wow.
Live show. It's going down. It's gonna fucking happen. And it's not even that difficult to put together. So,
yeah. Well, I'm interested. When you have a date, we'll see if I can go.
Yeah, well, I'll need a fucking cameraman. You know, or something. So yeah. But yeah, recently collabed with a rapper in Cali. He's like a juggalo, like kind of horrorcore rapper.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
Crease Reese.
yeah, but you know that's fun. Just working with other artists and shit, doing shit that I don't normally do. I'm not a horrorcore artist, but it's fun to do. It honestly is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got, you know, I'm just trying to fucking do everything I can to, like, you know, just get the ball rolling on media in general. You know, I did a vlog. I'm gonna start doing vlogs. I did one of them, but I think it'd be cool if I just kind of like do something like that and then kind of document my
to have your face on your channel more.
Well, yeah, have my face on my channel more, engage with people more, and also kind of document what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's a lot going on.
Yeah. Also, doing live streams on Thursdays with Rigby. Or doing like the main idea is to do like live like songs, you know what I mean? Like making songs live. But we only did one of those and his computer shat out on him, so we're kind of stalling on that idea for now.
Oh.
But yeah. Shit, what else? Yeah, man, I don't know. I got a lot of shit going on, man.
Yeah, that's a big schedule. Yeah, we're gonna start the show in July. Start the show formally again.
All right.
But I'm thinking instead of like doing like a flashback episode, just like doing like a clip show that I'm like hosting, and then having you react to the clip show, and then we talk about your reaction on the actual show, like the beginning part of the episode of the next season. Talk about the clip show. Because it would be a lot easier to manage all the clips if I could just write myself a little script and then say the things and then just have the clips and then put that on the channel as like a trailer for the next season. And then you could watch that and then like tell me how you felt about it afterwards, like how you felt about the clips, and and then we'll do a normal episode past that point, you know. So I don't have to struggle with like a whole bunch of fucking, because it'll be like, you know, like 6 or 7 clips, and doing that live would just be too hard.
It might be hard like with my schedule now because I get my schedule every week. I don't always have the same days off or even work the same hours, so it might be a little hard to work with that.
Well, we don't have to do it in person every time.
Well, I mean, even just working with the time might be a little difficult because I close some of the time. Sometimes I work mornings. Like it's all over the fucking place. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
It's not as steady as my last job, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, we should get that computer set up with Discord so you don't have to do it on your phone. I don't have time for that tonight, but maybe I could walk you how to do it over like another live stream, or just over your phone. I could show you how to do Discord or something. Put it on that computer, because if you put Discord on that computer, you could actually like have a webcam and it'll be a higher quality, and you can have like a lamp in front of you or something.
Yeah.
It'll make the show look a little nicer. But yeah, I'll probably hit this bong one more time, and then we'll wrap up the show, and then I gotta go give my daughter a bath.
Word.
But that's pretty cool about the promoter.
Yeah. He showed us like some of the shit he's done, like music videos he's helped produce and shit. And like, yeah, I mean, this dude's the real deal, man. He's like in Colorado, he's actually kind of hot shit around here. And I don't know how Shaden knows him, but he really likes Shaden, so he took a liking to us right away too. So he was like really down to work with us and shit. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, like I said, I plan on doing big shit this year. I'm pushing for an August release date for my album, but it's again, I'm waiting on a couple features. I'm gonna get that shit figured out pretty quick, but other than that, I mean, the album's pretty much ready to go. All my shit's done, mixed, as clean as I can possibly get it, I think. So, like, I got an EP coming out, you know, a collaborative EP. Probably want to get that out around the same time. And like, yeah, doing shows and fucking music videos and shit. That's the plan. I'm taking this shit seriously now, man. I'm done fucking around, you know what I mean? I fucked around for too long, and I think I got potential, so I'm doing it. And I have the fucking connects now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hope that works.
Hell yeah. What's the deal with the Truth Hurts video?
We can set a date to record it. Like, I mean, I basically have the idea already. I just need the stuff for it. Oh god.
Plugged I Like Cats in our last live stream, so fucking gotta do that video now.
Right.
I already plugged it. I teased it. Told people it was coming.
We should definitely about the next time we get together. Okay. Well, I think I guess you did a pretty long plug, but you want to do a little plug now?
Yeah, I mean, that was more of an announcement of things to come, not really a plug.
Yeah, it was more like a bigger segment.
Yeah, I'm B Deli. You can find me on Instagram at B Deli Official. You can find me on TikTok, same handle. You can find me on YouTube. Just search B Deli or B Deli Official on any of those, and I should come up. I got music on Spotify and all that shit. I'm honestly, I've been considering just deleting my EP because I think I'm doing way cooler shit now. But if you're interested, it's still up. So you can go listen to that.
Oh, limited time offer. Limited time offer.
Limited time offer. I mean, I haven't made a solid decision, but it's something I've definitely been thinking about just because, like, I feel like it's not representative of what I'm capable of at all now. So, you know, I have a lot more confidence in the music I'm making now. So, but yeah, if you're interested, it's still there. So you can check it out. But yeah, I think that's all my plugs.
Okay.
And again, just got a lot of shit coming up. So
yeah,
look me up, follow me on all that shit.
And we got to get more subscribers. We have 8 on the channel now. We got 2 more.
Well, that's more than I knew last.
Yeah, well, we got 2 more in the last couple months.
Nice.
But yeah, my name is Malachi. Tell your friends to subscribe. Subscribe yourself if you see this. You probably see segments and not the actual video. Segments usually get seen more than the long streams, but our quality has been really consistent, so that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The end. Oh, let's play the song for the outro.
Oh shit, am I doing the phone thing again?
Yeah.
All right. Word.
Time to roll up. Shit, I hold up. Smoke up. Well, we toke up. Time to roll up.